what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum. We're back with another episode of Found Footage Friday. Yay! A weekly, if you're not familiar, a weekly show that Tom Reimer and I do discussing found footage movies.
Every single week. Every Friday.
Week. There's a playlist.
I mean, if you were like wondering what you're going to watch this Friday night and you really love found footage, we got a whole bunch of episodes that you should flip through and figure out what your next flick is. So a lot of good recommendations.
Yeah, and if you're new, just so you know, we do unspoiled opinions first, and then we do announce when we go into spoilers, so we're not ruining anything for anybody that's not familiar with our format. So that's always good too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are we talking about?
Today, we're talking about a film that has, I would say, a cult-ish sort of following. A lot of people are really into this film, not just this film, but what is becoming a series of films. And it is the first in the Bad Ben series. So this is Bad Ben, the first movie, which stars a man named Nigel Bach, who plays a character called Tom Riley. And I guess I'll read a couple of little synopses. The first one on IMDb is like one line. A man realizes something sinister lives inside his new home. Almost nothing. This one's a little bit better. Tom Riley thought he was getting the deal of a lifetime when he bought a house below market value at a sheriff's sale.
Yep.
He invested every penny he had with the plan of flipping the home for a profit. Once he owned it, however, he noticed the strange happenings, all of which were captured on 21 surveillance cameras located throughout the home inside and out. At first, he thought people were breaking in, but he soon realized he was dealing with something paranormal. Okay, that's the IMDb.
That's a better one.
Yeah, better. So, this movie, I give a ton of credit to. This is the quintessential, if you like someone who's a found footage fan, doesn't have a huge budget, goes out and makes, in my opinion, a decent found footage horror film. And I think I have to say this up front. I did a little bit of research on what the budget, and when I say research, I mean I went on Wikipedia, so it wasn't in the library sifting through microfilm or anything. But let's see. I believe, according to Wikipedia, the best source of information you could ever find, Wikipedia says that the budget. Have you read this? What the budget of this film was?
I didn't.
Take a guess how much Nigel Bach, who, for the record, Nigel Bach, I believe he did everything. It's a one-man show.
Yeah.
He started it. He directed it. He edited it. He did all of the special effects, everything. And this movie was filmed in his actual house.
In his actual house.
According to Wikipedia. But yeah, guess how much Wikipedia says this movie costs to make. And I'm telling you this before I get your rating, because it's impressive.
$2,000.
Lower.
$500.
Lower.
$150.
$300.
And what was it? The cameras? Was that what?
I don't know what they were spent on. And maybe he already owned the cameras. I don't know. But this is, Wikipedia says, again, Wikipedia, that he spent $300 on this and raked in $110,000, which is quite a profit, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. So
I guess I'll give my rating then before I say too much else. And I do factor in some of these things because I think it is very impressive, like what he was able to put together by himself, essentially.
Yeah.
I'll rate this movie a 6.5 tapes out of 10.
Okay.
Are we on the same page this time? Are we widely different places?
Did you already have a suspicion as to whether you thought I liked or didn't like this one?
I have a suspicion you like it more than the last one. That's about it.
Well, yeah. Um, yeah. So I am giving this 6 tapes.
Oh, we're so close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tapes. Oh,
I thought about saying 6.5, but I had 6 in my head, so I was gonna be honest and just be like, no, 6.5.
oh,
Six tapes out of 10.
this is the closest we've been in a long time, I think.
Since Incantation.
Yeah.
And that one was right in the exact same. But yeah, so I gave this a 6.
I think I would have done 6 if not for, like, I'm factoring in his budget, and this guy just did this on his own, which, I mean, you see in the movie, you can tell that, like,
Oh
this guy
yeah, of
did this on
course.
his own, but it sort of adds something to it, and you know that watching this. I enjoy that. They're supposedly, I think they have an 11th film in the works
Yeah,
right now.
called The Undead.
Yes. Oh, we've seen. Yep.
Because
And
you can go to his website and
oh,
pay to have your name featured in the movie.
have you done that yet?
No, it's expensive.
Oh. Um, how do they feature it in the movie? Like, are you?
Well, not like featured like your name. Like I guess there's going to be maybe like a social media aspect or something.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
a way to get your name featured or like your social media something featured in the film. So I'm assuming it ties into the story
Okay. Interesting.
because there's a
There's
couple of options. I don't remember exactly what they were, but they range from like $150 to $300.
there's also, if you're interested, a video game, a Bad Ben
I didn't know
video
there
game.
was a video
I
game.
have not explored this myself, but I did read that. So there's a Bad Ben multiverse, it seems, of sorts. I have not seen beyond the first movie, but I sort of want to. I it seems harder to track down maybe the other. I've seen like a few of them here and there. I think
Yeah, I think the first 9 are on Tubi.
the first 9 are on Tubi. Really, I didn't know
I
that.
think so because so when
Yeah.
I just watched this
Then I
yesterday.
take that back. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I just watched this yesterday, and when I went into Tubi and put it in, it
Mhm.
came up through 9, I believe.
Well,
So
I
I
know
guess
what
the
I
only one that's missing is 10 if Undead is the
yep.
11th.
I know what I'm watching this weekend then. I want to
Yeah,
see what happens next.
so there's I'm maybe I'm crazy, but I'm pretty sure it went all the way up to 9 on Tubi.
That is really fascinating.
Hmm. Unless
Um,
10 was at the bottom because it's 2 numbers and I didn't see it, but I don't know.
so should we say anything else before we spoil this? I mean, I like this movie. I can say that without spoiling it. I like this movie. I would define it as haunted house found footage, right? Um,
Yeah.
Along the lines of paranormal activity, probably, right?
I
Or
think the only thing I was going to kind of add to, and this is something you've already sort of said, I was just going to add a little bit to it as far as unspoiled is I feel like this is a found footage movie. Obviously, I can't speak to the others because I haven't seen them yet, but I think this is a found footage movie that true found footage fans will have a natural appreciation for
absolutely.
because I'm watching these things that don't look great and I'm still loving them. I'm just
Oh yeah.
like there's these things that that like editing wise, specifically editing wise, and I'll talk more about it when we get into spoilers.
Mhm.
That I just was like, I know how to do those things. I could do that, and
But it's
it was
kind of cool though,
it
right? Like,
is. No, it is. And it's like I could have done it, but he did it first. Like that's the
yeah.
thing, is like he did this on his own, to your point, in his house with these moments that are just like
Mhm.
they work. And when everything happens, all the scary or the scary moments, the things that happen, you know exactly how he did it. And
Yeah.
you still are like, I really liked that.
Yeah, I mean, well, in a lot of movies, there are really scary things that happen, but you're like, oh, they just did that with a computer. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, and he just, this was a guy I read that, he went and he pitched this to, I don't know, studios or what, I'm not sure exactly, and didn't get anyone to pick up his movie. So he just went out and made it on his own, like without having to leave
Good
his
for
house. Like,
him.
that's pretty cool. Like,
It is.
there aren't many people that, and he made a bunch of money on it. So I think that's pretty darn awesome. So
No, and I think outside of the film, just his experience making the film in general is what found footage is all about.
yeah,
Getting these new voices, these people that aren't given opportunities to do mainstream films, like through big production companies and stuff like that. That's why I say, like, I really think if people anybody watching this that is a true found footage fan, they're going to have a natural respect for it. They just will.
yeah. Is it the scariest thing you'll ever see? No.
God, no.
It's definitely a lot of fun, and definitely he's clearly a found footage fan, connoisseur, whatever you want to say.
Yes,
And
it's obvious.
It's a love letter to found footage films. So how could you not? If you like this genre, how could you not?
Yeah, I agree.
So, I also think, and without spoiling, I want to just say that the protagonist, who Nigel Bach plays, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, is one of the more unique protagonists I think you'd find in any horror movie, probably. That's not an outright comedy.
Yeah, he's real.
He's a real dude.
He's
grumpy,
like the stuff he said.
Curmudgeonly, like old man, middle-aged dude.
With his little slippers and his
which is it works. It works. I don't often like I don't know. I don't often like a lot of humor. I've said this before, and like horror.
Yeah.
And this is not it's not a comedy, but the character is there. He's amusing. Which I'll just leave until we spoil it. But
yeah, I agree. Because I'm going to talk about some of the lines that he says too.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah.
Please. All right, let's go.
All right, let's spoil. Okay.
Yeah. So, do you want to go first, or
it doesn't matter?
So, I'll just go off on that. I really like the character of Tom Riley. He's not like anyone in any other. I was trying to think of another horror movie that has this sort of, like, as I said before, grumpy middle-aged guy. The way he reacts to the ghost in his house is awesome. Nobody really reacts like that in any movies that I've seen. Instead of becoming scared of his house being possessed, he gets angry and like stubborn and refuses to leave.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he gets like punched in the face or something, or like by a ghost, and his face is all bloody. I don't know if you're supposed to laugh at that, but like he's kind of like not really a likable guy either. He's kind of just like, I don't know. Like, I like him.
Yeah.
But he's not a likable guy. Like, I was laughing.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Because when you learn about the kid stuff, he like doesn't care. He's like, I don't care. I have things to do. This shit's gotta go. Like, he just kept saying that.
I mean, like, he is like, the other thing is you can't feel bad for him either throughout this movie. Like, for what ends up happening to him, because he has like 100 chances to leave this house and he doesn't. And the reasoning is that he put all of his life savings into this place and he can't possibly leave it, I suppose. But like, he does have a lot of chances to, and does not. So it's very, very like, hilariously stubborn and almost antagonistic of this ghost or whatever. So his reaction to really everything that he finds, like I feel like every day people would be terrified, grossed out, weirded out, and he's just, I mean,
he didn't have time for it. It's like an inconvenience.
Yeah,
he's really funny. So there's a couple things that I thought were funny. Every time he said this shit's gotta go, I laughed. Like, I was like, because
how many times does he say that?
He says it so many times. And he's like, when he goes up, in the attic and he finds the different things, and then he goes into the yard and there's like the grave. He's like, this shit's gotta go. Like, he says it so many times. And
I just want a t-shirt with that.
That's just his quote. Like, he says it so many times. It's so funny, but I really found him, like you said, I mean, comparing him to like other horror characters, even outside of found footage.
There's
Like
not many. Yeah.
he's so real and
Mhm.
relatable. Cause I feel like I would be, I don't know exactly how I would react if these were like if I was put in that exact situation, it was real or whatever. But like, I think like I know so many people like this would be my dad. If my dad's house was haunted, this would be my dad.
That's how
He'd be
he would
like,
react.
I don't have time for this. Enough is enough. You gotta go. Like that's how he would be. And
Time's
it
up.
just yeah, and I just thought that was so funny. And I also really but I will say this too, like as much as I did laugh and as much as things were very light, it was not like a super the story is a little heavy, but it's not like super
Yeah.
heavy horror, right? But like there were a couple of things that did actually kind of get me. The table jumping
Oh
that
yeah.
scared me. Like when he's looking at the thing and it's playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. That's
And he
creepy.
was like, "Did someone hurt you?" And the
Oh
table jumps. That I legitimately jumped when that happened. It
yeah.
got me really good. That was a really good one. The shadow across the door I thought was really well
That was
done.
good. Yep.
The what was the other one I was going to mention? The ending with the stairs.
Oh, that's great.
Obviously he
Yep.
sped it up. I'm fine with that. But I think like
That's great. Yeah.
I thought that was all really well done. And I think that even though he's a very real person, he also like he was very convincing when bad things were happening to him too. Like his yells were very
Yep.
convincing. Yeah, I just so even though there were a lot of moments that I was like chuckling because he was so over everything, there were a couple things that really did make me like, ooh, like did kind of get me a little bit.
I mean, one thing that I think that was particularly good, it's sort of like a general comment, was that
Mhm.
I thought the pacing of the movie was really good. They did
Yeah.
a really good job building the suspense, and in between sort of
Yeah.
this humorous sort of character, the pacing was really good. He's he's just not your prototypical horror movie protagonist in a lot of ways. He's really different. Um, let's see. It's not a complicated movie. It's a haunted
No.
house.
Yeah.
And mostly shot through his security cameras. I think he uses his like cell phone,
A few
maybe
times.
a few times.
It's mostly the security cameras.
But the special effects, which he does on his own, are all decent, passable. Don't like they're good. They're good. So like this is it's fun. It's scary. It sort of like has it all, and it's all the better knowing, in the context of this guy just going and making this movie. It's really fun to watch when you go into it knowing that. I think
Yeah.
probably makes it a better viewing experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, like the shots that we get of like doors opening and closing when the attic ladder closes and there's they and he did it this way on purpose, but you see the one angle and then you see the other, like you see it from like up and then down. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
Yep.
because obviously whoever closed the door is gone by the time we see the other shot, but it still puts you in the position of like seeing that it closed and there was nothing there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that even though that was really obvious, it was still like effect, like it worked. Like I
It
didn't
was very
have
effective. Yep.
um and I liked that the story had some layers to it too, because I wasn't expecting that based on we
No.
talked about this briefly before I ever watched it. I wasn't expecting the haunting to have like this layered.
The Bad Ben story, you mean?
Yeah, like I didn't expect that part to have the layers because like I kept wondering, I was like, why is it called Bad Ben? Like if it's just a
Yeah.
little kid that got killed, like what happened? And then we find the drawing, and then it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So there's like this whole separate thing.
Which that would be enough for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm out. Someone else can come sell this house. I'll pay somebody to clean this place up. But yep, nope. To give the guy credit. He sticks around.
Oh, and the part where he's on the phone with the people he bought the house from, and he's like, you have to disclose this. And he goes, what do you mean not in New Jersey?
And filmed in New Jersey, I believe. So
Yeah, and he says
yeah.
like they ask him if he knows what something means, and he's like, "Do you know what get effed means?" And he's like, I was dying. I was like, because like I haven't had to make that phone call of like, people died in this house and you didn't tell me, but like
Right.
I know what it feels like to try to get through like rational conversation when
Yep.
something like that comes up and you're like, oh God, that part I was like, so relatable.
Yeah, I mean, like I've not been in the position that he's in, but he was relatable as just a human being, and
Yeah, I
with
thought
all
that
the
part was so funny.
trials and tribulations he goes with trying to sell this house.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to find out where the story goes after the first movie. I mean, some of the sequels have some ridiculous titles.
I didn't look at all the titles.
Yeah, it really piques my interest. So, I mean, there's some wild ones out there. I honestly can't think of any of them right now, but I'm
Hmm.
really excited to see what he does. Like, is it the
Yeah.
same guy? What happened to him at the end? I noticed that they use that same image of his face, like screaming in the camera for a lot of the covers of these movies, like
Yes.
branding.
It's
But
almost like it almost reminds me of Blackwell Ghost.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Because it's very like, I mean, obviously very different, two different things, but just in the
Yep.
sense that like there became so many more and they use the same image. It's just got
Yeah.
the number difference or whatever for
Yep.
the sequels or whatever. But I definitely am going to make time to watch the rest of them because I actually really
Fun.
I just really thought this was a fun. I really
I'll
liked it. I
I'll
thought it
watch
was
them until like if they got really bad I'd stop. But like I'll definitely watch the next ones just to see.
well,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. At
Um.
least see two and see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely worth it. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I'd love to hear what people think because the little bit I've seen on some other like Facebook groups and whatnot seems to be a wide range of opinions on this
Okay.
film or these films. There are people who love them, especially the first one. I think the consensus is that the first is the
It's the
best of
best one.
a lot
Yeah.
of what I've seen,
Yeah.
because it goes all over the place. I think in some of the others, but there are people on the other end that just really don't like these movies. But I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sort of like I really like it. I don't think it's like one of my favorite found footage films, but it's like a must watch for this genre if it's your thing. So
Yeah,
um,
I think so too. And I think I think it's because it is someone who obviously has a love for the subgenre. Like
right.
it's kind of like and I think it's sort of like in that way it kind of it's not as meta, but it kind of reminds me of like
It is a
found
little bit.
footage 3D because
Yeah.
like found footage 3D is not this super complex crazy story, but it is a movie about it's a found footage movie about found footage and I mean that made it like better. That made
No,
it automatically better, you know?
yeah, no, it is a little meta. Like I don't know, a
I
little
guess a
bit.
little.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he does say things like, "I don't know why I'm filming every moment of my life right
yeah,
now." He does
yeah.
say stuff, and then
Very
there's other
self-aware. Yeah,
times where he comments on the behavior that he's showing not making any sense. Like, he
yeah.
says that a couple times. So that's true, you're right. No, that's true. But it just
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of that as, like, this, like, love note to you said that earlier, like a
I
love
mean,
note.
to be fair, a lot of people, I would say probably most people who make found footage love found footage. Probably. Like I
It
mean,
would
I
be kind of
feel like Steven
strange.
Spielberg is like, I'm gonna make a found footage film. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah.
the people who do it they're probably their thing.
Yeah.
But most of them have a studio or studios behind them or some bigger money. We've talked about a few others where the budget was surprisingly I can't even think of the ones we've mentioned before, but like I don't think there's
I
anything
don't
close. I'd
remember.
be really curious if you know of another found footage, if you're watching right now, another one of these movies where the budget was as low as what Bad Ben's reportedly was, because
$300.
I want to watch those. I'm really curious, especially if it's good. Like Bad Ben's good and kind of a ridiculous budget. So in a really awesome way. So
Yeah,
really impressive.
I agree. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think if you're watching and you've made it this far and you haven't seen it, you should go watch it, even though we just spoiled it.
Great job, great job, Nigel.
Yeah, we liked it. I went and followed him as soon as I finished watching the first one.
Okay.
I did go look to see if there were T-shirts. I didn't see T-shirts. I saw a poster. So
But
when there becomes a
this
T-shirt,
this shit's got to go.
he needs that on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so the poster is like it says Bad Ben, and then it's got the drawing on it of Bad Ben.
Oh, yeah.
So that actually would be a really cute T-shirt idea. I would buy that if Nigel, if you're watching, I would buy that T-shirt in a heartbeat. So, yeah, no, I liked this one. It was fun.
All right, I did too. So I don't know what we're watching next. We need to figure that out. But thanks for hanging out today, everybody. This was a good one.
Yeah, we will be back next Friday with another one once we figure it out. We always discuss after, and then Angel forgets and has to ask which ones we're doing.
Then maybe I also forget. Yeah,
it's a whole thing. Anyway, yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this lovely Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and Tom and I will be back next week with another episode of Found Footage Fridays.
Can't wait. See you then.
See ya.
Bye.